Right?
What's going on? Oh, hey.
Did you?
No, can't do it. Got to go on the other side. I got to go.
Oh no, I'm more left of you. I'm more left than Lila. We both know this.
You say that. Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining us. Pat, right as we were going live, I saw Bernie Sanders' Twitch stream going live to talk about the reconciliation package. So I really appreciate the people who are hanging out with us tonight.
Why would you tell the 3 people watching us that there's a better show to watch right now?
We're going to break it all down for you here tonight. That's what's going to happen. Hi, welcome to the Punch Up Pod with Lila and Pat. How's everybody doing tonight? How are you doing, Pat?
I'm good. I have no complaints. Just while we're waiting, I like to introduce the beer that I try to match every week to the show, and I found one called Punch Yourself, which seems like it fits on all the levels. Like
it really does. Look what I just did.
Oh,
I'll tell you, never should have given me the ability to touch a button, because it does give me so much joy to I'm a little OCD. I know you know.
And I should apologize to Leila, because just yesterday I asked her to send me a screenshot, and I explained to her not to take a picture of her screen with her camera like she was an idiot. But I've worked with some people, and so normally she sends me pictures, screenshots from her phone, but since it was on her computer, I was
I'm sending you screenshots both through my computer and my phone for 6 months now, or however long it's been. That's me sending them to you.
Sure. But then well, so we haven't met in real life, so I don't even consider us friends yet, really, to be honest.
Oh, and yet you think I'm so old, you have to tell me how to do a screenshot. That's all right. That's okay. You're going to be shocked when you meet me in the flesh in 2 days. We're going to actually see each other in real life, which is so crazy. This whole Twitter world, which I love. Like, how cool is it? We wouldn't have met otherwise. So that's very cool.
And we're both going to meet lots of people. Well, I should plug my own damn show, but we're at Flappers on Sunday at 5. But I know just people that are going to be there: Jimmy Dore, Stephanie, Zamorano.
Yeah,
is it Zamorano? I always kind of mess that up.
How to pronounce it? Miserable lib.
And I know Compton Jay is going to be watching the show. We're gonna. I think get to meet and have a beer too.
Yeah, there are a few. Yeah, it's gonna be cool. I'm very excited to meet all of our comrades in person. That's gonna be very cool.
And that's in Bougie, LA. If you're in Bougie, LA.
Yeah. Is Flappers? I think
Burbank.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm looking forward to it. Josh and I will be there. We're very excited. I'm still waiting to find out when. As I said, I'm super OCD, and Pat has not yet told me when he's actually coming to stay with us.
I'm a terrible procrastinator, and I apologize in advance. Anyone waiting to hear from me on anything.
Yeah. So as much as I like to say that I'm OCD, I had scheduled for Bernie Who. Thank you. That's very cute. Yeah, Bernie Who. What? You should be here. I thought that we had a guest on today. Thank you, Lynn. But I got the date wrong. So we had planned half the show around a guest who will be here next week, Ryan Knight, the Proud Socialist, which we're really excited about. But I thought today was the 27th. I'm just speeding time up so I can see my older son who's away at college. He comes home for Thanksgiving, and I think that must have been what was going on. So anyway, so now this is all an explanation of why you just get Pat and me today. So
it's a good excuse for us to drink with friends. That's our plan. So we're just gonna have more fun with the wheel. And we did use the wheel last week and decided, if nothing else, we get to take shots once in a while, and it's fun stuff. So
I'm looking forward to it. We got a lot of stuff. And what do you think? Do we just delve in? I mean, because it's touching on stuff in the news. So do we just go for it?
I am all for going for it.
Let's go for it. Let's see. It's been a newsworthy
roll that beautiful bean footage. Does anyone remember that? That's some old school stuff. That was from a commercial.
You're so much older than I am, so no, I don't.
Sure.
I'm taking off the host Chiron. Look at me. Gosh darn it, I'm really good at this job. Okay, so that's our wheel. I don't even need my readers to read that little running Chiron down there, the scroll. My face keeps freezing. Is my voice freezing?
No, I could hear you the whole time.
Sorry, I guess I wonder if it would be better if it were the reverse. All right, here I go. You ready?
Yeah, baby.
Whoa, that just went right to it.
Way too fast. No.
And it lands on Ask Me Anything. So pretty much, if anyone has a question for Leila, because she spun that.
No way.
Leila,
I think
anything you want to know.
That's a YJ.
Ask either of us anything you want to know. And if no one comes up with something, I'm going to ask Leila something.
I think
pressure is on.
That was way too fast, though. I wonder if we're all going to be that fast.
I wasn't ready for that.
I wasn't either. I think I messed it up.
I don't even have a question for you. Let's see. What can I ask you?
That was too fast, because also if that's how fast it's going to go, I'm going to have to change the setting on that. That's too fast.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah. What? All right. Take a pause.
Okay.
Pause and slow that bad boy down, because that was a little too fast.
You know that I definitely want to talk about this with you, but
okay.
Baby.
Wait a minute.
Stop it. Okay.
Wait.
Nothing.
Time out. Let's
you deal with what's going on over there while I deal with the screen. Why don't you tell us a little bit more about your beer that you got going on? What's the percentage? What's it taste like? Oh, I'll see if I can figure this out.
I'll kill some time for us.
Yeah, that is what I'm begging you to do, por favor.
I wonder, so what do you think Bernie's saying right now? Hopefully he's calling for progressives to stand up to Biden and unity amongst the progressive caucus, which Jayapal recently just said praised Biden yesterday. He's doing a great job. He's the unifier and all this nonsense. And here she is with all the leverage of the progressive caucus and praising him pre-negotiation as he's tweeting about, or not tweeting, he's telling people that lots of programs are not making the cut.
I mean, it's really sick.
So garbage.
You did a pretty good job there.
You think we got?
I got too much. Got too much going on. Gosh, I had it all set up, Pat. Dang it.
Do I have any banners left?
I don't know.
I got wrong again.
You got wrong again. This is.
Here, I could pimp my show.
I'm firing.
Go ahead.
Today. All right, I think I got it.
Here's the show.
Good.
So in Burbank at 5 on Sunday, if you're around. Rick Overton, I forgot to mention him. Joy, my co-author on the parody book we wrote together, is going to be there. And then the people that work there that run the place, they're also going to be there for like 5 minutes. It's like a mandatory. All right, let's go.
They're excited to be there. What are you talking about? Mandatory. Here we go. Still too big. Or can we handle it?
We can roll with it for now.
And then we got to get some people in here to help me with my graphics. I think
we need unpaid interns, because that's progressive and not canceling us or anything.
Exactly. Haha. Okay, I'm gonna do it.
Yeah, baby.
Oh, I knew
that's better.
Good. Well,
that's how you start a show with the wheel.
We should, you know what? That just has to be the beginning of everything. I got my huge bottle here. Oh my God. Last week I was a bit of a disaster.
I mean, I was too, but I think when I hit disaster level, I'm like, let's talk for another 2-3 more hours. And you're like, turn the camera off.
No, honestly, wait. A little bit tonight. I'll be honest. I do want to go root on my Dodgers. I feel like they need me.
Why are you reminding people? What other good shows are on Netflix right now that they could be watching? Or
I don't know how to do this at all. All right, let's take. Wait, did you take your shot again already?
No.
Oh, cheers. Okay. All right. Cheers, everybody.
What are you drinking there? Is that Sky vodka?
Yeah, it's my Sky. It's my big old bottle of Sky vodka. Give me the endorsement, Sky. I'm keeping you in business over here. No supply chain problem. All right. Let me try this again.
Let's talk politics. Let's go.
Talk politics.
Yeah, baby.
That's more like it. That's what we need to be talking about. Okay. Pat, I'm going to let you start us off on this. There is so much to say, and it's all entirely depressing.
Right. I think I'm just going to leave bullshit alert up on the bottom for the whole show because that seems to fit. So, I mean, his own proposal, the centrists in his party are trying to whittle it down to 2 trillion, and his proposal is already centrist. So it's the whittling of the whittling of the whittling. Yeah. And just to remind people, this whole thing didn't start at 3.5 trillion. They already agreed behind the scenes on 3.5 trillion for this.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. They and by the way, I mean, Bernie ran on 16 trillion, right? I think Biden ran on 6. In January, Joe Manchin said, I keep freezing, I'm sorry, but
that's all right. We can still hear you the whole time.
In January, Joe Manchin said 4 trillion. So somehow the negotiation got down to 3.5 trillion. And now we're having to negotiate it even further down. You know, I really think that and somebody wrote this on Twitter, and I don't know her name, but, you know, when they lose in 22 and 24, I think we all just really have to be aware that that was the plan all along. You know, this is ridiculous.
Yeah, I'm not going to say it because I'll save it for later, but yeah, it's absolutely silly that this plan that is already the garbage, like Biden didn't do so many things he already ran on that he had the power to do immediately via executive order. So now they have to put up some sort of facade of a reason he's not doing them, which falls to the rotating villain of Cinema and Manchin. You know, nothing new there, but for this plan to be in the public being discussed right now at 2 trillion.
Yeah.
I mean,
with no climate provisions. I think they're going to be means testing the pre-K, you know, so all that does every time that there is means testing, you know, that it's a policy built to fail, because all it does is build resentment, you know, among people who are just sort of like clawing for any relief from devastation, basically. Right.
But what they're doing is I mean, propaganda wise, I was listening to NPR earlier, which I always do, and just to hate myself, but it helps me understand, you know, what kind of spin they put on these things, because they used to be, you know, the progressive left.
Yeah.
But now that they're not, they're not.
I mean, they're sponsored by the Koch brothers and Raytheon at this point.
Yeah. Now that that's happened, they did a little, well, they had a fake debate about the bill, basically. And when you listen to this debate, they present it as sort of both sides of talking about fleshing this whole thing out. But the end result, the viewer or the listener is supposed to come up with is that, well, we have to do this so that the child tax credit gets extended, because that lifted all these kids out of poverty. So this one part of the bill is worth all the sacrifice of all the other stuff. I mean, you're either for that one thing or you're not, which is how it's going to be positioned in a few days.
Yeah. Yeah. And the whole thing of like, you know, oh, are the progressives going to take their ball and go home? You know, I saw Cory Bush and Jamal Bowman on CNN, and I don't know the guy's name who was interviewing them, but, you know, he's like, so you'd really just rather have nothing than compromise? Do you really want to and it was, you know, Barack Obama, thanks Obama. Do you really want to let the perfect be the enemy of the good? You know, and nobody ever asks that to Manchin. Do you really want?
Yeah, and when you consider that we're going to lose seats in 2022, and literally nothing is going to be on the table to get done. You have to do it now. So if you're compromising now, you're compromising on almost the next 7 years, because we're going to lose in 2024. We're never going to have a majority of all the houses, the Senate and Congress and the presidency.
Yeah.
So this is everything, because the Republicans are just going to come in and cut, so this is it. This is your showdown.
This is a showdown. And I do think so. There was a poll. This is Biden's job approval right now. He is failing. It is a failed presidency. I think that his initial offer, sorry, it's so distracting to me that I keep lagging. I don't know how you're seeing it, but sorry, everybody. I don't know what's going on. We need to nationalize the internet. But his initial FDR, they never should have run cover for him and called him FDR. I think that the New Deal was 50% of the GDP. Biden's first proposal was 5%. It was nowhere near what was necessary, and we all knew that. Anybody with a brain, anybody who had watched his 40-year career, anybody who watched the primaries, we all knew that he was not the man for this job. But he started at 5%, and it's now dwindled to, I think, 2% of the GDP is what they're proposing. It's not enough. And there will be no material gain for anybody who came out as a new voter to, trying to get rid of Trump and to be enthusiastic about Biden because they were promised, they got a lot of new voters off of the George Floyd protests. Those became voting, enrollment events as well. Activists got people to register to vote and come out for Joe Biden on promises that he would address some issues.
But if you are sitting at home thinking, well, it's still going to be them versus the other guys in the midterms. Oof. I mean, midterms are all voter enthusiasm. Democrats are hey, I like the green. I'll join you in solidarity in a minute. Give me a second.
On with my internet connection. Maybe this will keep me from lagging. Sorry.
So voter enthusiasm is everything. So in reality, both sides were pretty much equally enthused about their shitty candidates. The difference that tilted the favor Biden's way was COVID. The country was fucked with COVID. So even you got some reasonable Republicans, but independents were like, this COVID stuff with Trump is really awful. I mean, I'm scared of it. Anyway, so he lost. But all the COVID negativity this cycle is going to fall on Biden and Democrats in 2022.
Yep.
So that little thing there that tips the scale is not working for Democrats, and it's a guarantee that they're going to lose.
I mean, Trump is wildly popular with his base still. So they are coming out, and the people, I mean, and sorry to correct you in real time here, but Biden,
how do I mute you?
This green screen is now I'm like a mess. But even as people were leaving the exit polls, people were I think 74%. Thank you.
No, your green screen is sexy. Mine is like awful. I can't do that. I'll go.
But people in the exit polls, that's pretty good. They were saying that they were voting against Trump. The enthusiasm gap was huge even then, and it's going to be even bigger now. I mean, these poll numbers for Biden are Trump level lows nationally. It's bad. And this is, as you said, the one opportunity Democrats have to show that, hey, it's worth it to come out and vote for us. We're going to get stuff done. But they don't. They've got, the parliamentarian. They have spoken out against abolishing the filibuster. They couldn't even pass the Voting Rights Act today. I mean, what is the point? And, sorry, and then I'll stop talking for a second. But on Facebook right before this, somebody posted something responded to me saying Democrats should do what Manchin did and just not Democrats, progressives, and leave the party. This is not our party. And somebody wrote, oh, if we could just get rid of Manchin and Sinema and get Puerto Rico and DC to be states. And I was like, do you understand? It's not, then it will just be, Coons and Warner and the parliamentarian. They are doing exactly what their donors want them to do. I wrote that and it got flagged from Facebook.
Wow. So are you on timeout or something?
I'm on a Facebook timeout right now. Mark Zuckerberg does not like my politics.
Okay. So Jill, I agree with it entirely.
Yep.
We are now at a point where they don't care if they lose. I mean, that even on an individual level, it used to be like if you lost your own race mattered more than anything. But if you lose your own race, but you're still supporting all the status quo, basically, you're going to get gifted with the best job you've ever had in your life for doing nothing and sitting on your ass.
That's right. Yeah, you'll be a lobbyist. You'll get a contract with MSNBC. You will be part of a think tank. You will make millions of dollars in the revolving door of the sewage of DC. Absolutely.
Yeah, I think we should spin the wheel before we.
Yeah. All right. Before I lose
getting
everything, and it looks like I lost my wheel, so it's going to take a second. Why don't you do a riff? Yeah, I did.
You want me to rap?
I do.
I can
It's
beatbox
gone.
or something.
I don't know what's going on out here in.
Yeah, baby.
Oh, it doesn't matter. It won't let me stop.
We can hear it.
I know.
We can't see it.
Everything just disappeared for me, except that it still says "sit to pee," so that's kind of hilarious. I am gonna try and do it again and just restart the whole deal.
Yeah. Get it up there. Let's see what people are saying.
Let's see. Why don't you go to some comments for us?
Yes, let's leave the party. Join the GOP. They host honest primaries. I mean, the problem is you're gonna lose running as a Republican. I mean,
yeah,
it's not gonna work in most states. I mean, it depends on the state. Some states, you might be able to win.
I will say though, is that, let me see if that worked. The primary for, I mean, they definitely did run an honest primary with Trump there because nobody wanted Trump, but they let it play out. They let their voters actually, choose the person. So, I mean, different from the Democrats for sure. Are you ready? Should I try it again?
Yeah,
sorry,
I see it spinning.
I'm really sorry. I don't know what is going on today, but let's see what we get. And this probably
yeah, baby.
And now I'm going to remove it, right? I'm removing it.
Yeah. So okay. It's off the wheel.
It is off the wheel. So this one spoke to me, Tom Hanks, Union Buster, because we are seeing, an unprecedented number of, I'm looking for a little graphic here. Yeah. Okay. I just want to make sure I can find it. Number of strikes. And I feel like what happened so often, like when Obama picked up the phone and ended the LeBron James, remember when he was going to strike and people were feeling really excited about, even though Obama killed our movement, there was going to be another movement. The George Floyd protests were happening, and it was incredibly sad, but it was also inspiring that so many people were taking to the streets, and even the NBA was going to support them and get in on it. And one call from Obama shut it all down. And then I saw in Counterpunch this article about Tom Hanks and another nice guy like Obama, who has been using his nice guy image to sway actors, SAG members, to vote against their interests, basically, without revealing that, while he's Tom Hanks, he is also the CEO of a major, independent studio in Playtone and makes millions of dollars off of the way they treat their working actors, right? So the whole thing just kind of encapsulated how I feel like, we are constantly being manipulated by the people who are cast as like the nice guy, Mr. America. Yeah.
And so with Hanks, that was back like the first SAG strike, like was it 10 years ago or something like that?
Yeah. So yes, there was going to be a SAG strike on the back of the writer's strike 10 years ago. And he and George Clooney and Meryl Streep the glitterati of Hollywood took out a full page in the New York Times and the LA Times and Variety and said, let's talk, which is always sort of the poise of like, don't take your ball and go home. Don't play hardball. You strikers, you workers who are striking, you're ruining it for everyone. Let's negotiate. Let's, see what they have to say. Let's work with the producers. And so on the backs of a 9-month writer's strike, the actors were going to try and strike because it was about, streaming services and stuff. And he put his thumb on the scale back then, but then again, just recently. But back then, is this what you were going to talk about? The Ed Asner? Sorry. Yeah.
Oh, no. I just want to put it in context with, and I think that this is all relative now. I mean, in part because IATSE is striking. Am I pronouncing that right?
Yep.
Which is the behind the scenes workers. Go ahead. Leila is an actress or actor.
Actress is fine. I used to say actor when I was younger, and now I'm saying actress. But however, I'll take the job. It doesn't matter.
So you can explain this better.
So IATSE represents, I don't know how many different unions, but it's called, it's gross anyway, but below the line, which is anybody who's not talent, writer, producer, or director. Below the line, gross. Anyway, but it's, anybody, the electricians, the camera, the editors, the lighting, the craft services, like makeup artists. And I think it was like 99% of the union came out to vote to authorize a strike, and 90% of them wanted to authorize a strike.
That's insane.
That's it's huge.
Yeah.
And they're striking for longer turnaround periods. They're always the first ones on the set and the last ones to leave. And they only have, I think it's an 8-hour turnaround. I think that's what it is now, which means they could leave the set and sometimes have to drive an hour.
Their life is sleep. And their life is sleep. I mean,
but like
if anything.
14-hour day, go home and turn around right away to be back on set. There were some people who, because of the long hours, aren't even making minimum, like a living wage. They can't have families. They often meals will get skipped, and because they can just pay a fine, the production company can just pay a fine. And so these people who are just standing there working in front of everybody, never, like, actors, we get to go to our trailer, we get to take a break. They get no time off in that whole time, and they just, be a penalty fee. But so now what was announced by the trades was, it's a Hollywood ending. The strike is over because, the union leaders and the producers came to an agreement, and now it just has to be ratified. Hollywood ending. Well, I've been hearing from friends of mine who are union members that they don't want to ratify this. They don't think it's a good deal. It's not fighting for everything that they had wanted. But they're getting pressure, and they're worried to speak up or to vote against it because they won't get hired on teams, and there's always that hierarchy. There are different levels of people in the union. So it just once again feels like the branding of anybody who wants to stick up and fight for what the workers need is always branded as the spoiler.
Well, how do you avoid it? I mean, there's so many ways you can get fired or not hired for other jobs, and you essentially would get blacklisted, like you said, for promotions, or sure, you won't get fired from a job, but the next job you're not,
you're looked at.
It's, to me, I think it's really interesting that we think of strikes as being about wages most of the time, and then maybe benefits. But in this case, like, there's so many other bad working conditions for the IATSE workers. It's clear it's not about bottom line money, which is it's sort of the opposite of what the industry is about. The industry is about bottom line money, and this isn't even about money. It's just
it's a living wage, and streaming services and health insurance, right? It's all of those things, but depressing and just par for the course on how it all happens. We're being told,
as Daniel says, spin the wheel.
All right, Daniel, shut it.
Yeah, baby.
Okay.
This helps the politics. This helps us get more real. So,
it does. And what I would like to
filtering.
say is, Daniel, that was a good call, actually.
Right.
Good call. I'll hand it to you. I am going to take another.
But so back to the previous topic still for a second.
Yeah.
Because I think why the IATSE thing is so important across the board is that, unions are great, but union leadership does not always represent the members very well.
Right.
So I hope in this case, because this is such a visible strike potentially.
Yeah.
I hope it really draws attention to that the leadership isn't the be all end all, and that people look and say, look, even among the union, you've got the workers are not, they're going to strike against their own union or something. They're not doing that, but it's really important. And I think all these strikes, they call it Striketober right now because people are fed up, and it's, I don't know.
People are fed up.
I'm avoiding the shot by talking.
I know, I can tell, but all right. Cheers, everybody. Cheers. Strike. Solidarity. I keep going back to thinking about Nevada. Oh, that's good to know. Yeah, I always ask people who watch, all my lib friends, like, oh, who's your favorite labor reporter? So, that's my little dig.
Right.
But that's
labor.
good to know. Yeah.
Is there a strike?
Yeah. That's good to know. Thank you. Yeah. What happened in Nevada in the caucus, where the union leadership said, we don't want Medicare for all because that will hurt our contracts, which, as we all know, is complete BS, right? Because if we take that off the table, then if everybody has Medicare for all, if everybody has health coverage, then you don't have to negotiate that. Then you can actually negotiate for, well, in the case of IATSE, you can negotiate for, the streaming services and the better hours and a longer turnaround and all those sorts of things. It just takes one thing off the table.
Healthcare is the.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Healthcare is the biggest stranglehold on workers' rights in this country.
Yep.
I mean, it's clear if your healthcare is covered, especially if you have kids and your job is dog shit, you can leave if you have healthcare, and you'll work it out if you have a resume, But without healthcare, people cannot afford COBRA, and COBRA is exorbitantly expensive intentionally because it keeps you tied to this system of having to stay at your goddamn job.
Yep. And they're, John Deere, they're going to be cutting the health insurance of all the striking workers. So it is.
Yeah. And that should be illegal. I mean,
Yeah. Thanks there, Pete.
I need another shot.
Well, maybe you'll get one. Let's see what the wheel is.
Yeah, baby.
I shouldn't have asked. Are you removing those when they hit?
No,
or are you not removing them?
I'm not removing.
So we're going to get down at the end. If we're on long enough, it's just going to be a wheel of shot. Take a shot.
You know what? I hadn't thought of that. I actually hadn't thought of that. All right, I'll remove it next time.
No, I don't care, actually.
I hope everybody at home is joining us, because otherwise we're not going to be as funny as we think we are.
Oh, I don't care. After this, I'm gonna start an after hours, after hours pods, punching everywhere after hours or something.
You sleeping on a bench. All right.
Because when I get enough alcohol in me, I just want to keep talking. I mean, I used to tweet through it, but I'm just so over Twitter, I don't even tweet through it anyway. Cheers.
All right. I think you can do both. Cheers, everybody. My cheeks are getting redder. Okay. All right. Let's get a good one here. And I will take it off next time. Sorry. I'm new to this job.
Yeah, baby.
Oh, yes. I have been waiting for this one. Oh, my God.
Oh, there was delay here.
Did you see what it was?
Oh, we're going to fight over this one, I'm sure.
We are. Okay. I'm so excited.
Are you pro sitting to pee? Of course you are.
I am pro men sitting to pee.
God.
You don't like that?
Can I just say in advance that when I I'm staying with Leila when I go to LA. I will not be sitting to pee. But and this is my defense. This leads into my defense of not sitting to pee.
Okay, tell me.
I am both an excellent aimer. I take great pride in my peeing. And I can't speak for all men. I'm sure most men don't do this, but I am a seat cleaner after standing pee.
Okay. So this whole journey,
and that's sacrifice enough. Jesus Christ.
Oh, really? Is that a sacrifice to clean up your pee splatters? That's so interesting. The spin wheel theme music is kind of muted. All right, we'll fix that. I started my sit to pee journey because of splatters and men who were not as aware as you might be. And then what was really interesting to me, because here's the thing, no matter what, if you pour something.
So, I'm sorry, I just need to interrupt and say I'm no longer friends with Kaylin.
But I love you. Hello, Kiko. If anything you pour from way above is going to splatter. So that's already like a poor concept.
Poor.
Yeah. But okay. But here's the thing. As I started to talk to grown men about this, I got a lot of pushback.
Karen, go on.
Yeah. It was really interesting to me that it was so like anathema to their masculinity that I would request that they sit to pee. And so then I started thinking that maybe this would be a way, not that you are a toxic male, but like maybe why do men feel like it's emasculating to sit to pee?
Okay.
I would like to know.
Because it is.
But wait, okay, sorry.
We're stuck. I mean, if you tell me I have to sit to poo, I'm not going to. First off.
What? But I mean, like,
we're stubborn. Look, we're supposed to be living in caves still. Evolutionarily, we're not supposed to be.
First of all, why is it feminine to sit to pee? And also, what's wrong with being feminine, Pat?
You're taking, first off, well, there's so many offs. I should have just made a presentation.
I'm waiting.
Peeing is fun standing up. You're taking all the fun out of life.
Well, I guess
it's literally
half of the population doesn't get any fun in life because we all sit to pee.
Yeah. So you want to be a hater? Come on.
Okay.
Let us pee standing up. And so back where I was going with the caveman thing is it takes a lot of work to get us just to not pee in wrong places. We found the toilet. We're not peeing in the backyard against the fence. We're waiting until we get home to pee. I mean, you got to give us some little caveman brain.
Like I'm going towards that toxic masculinity thing because I think there is something in there that men just feel like I can whip it out and do whatever I want wherever. And I would like to know.
Lauren gets it.
She's out of my life forever. And
so yes, go on.
I would like to know if when you are sitting to poo and you all of a sudden have to pee, do you quick stand up? Do you turn around and stand up? Like, is that emasculating or is it okay because it's like counterbalanced by the fact that you're pooing?
You can handle it, but it's
like weird.
Not fun, and it's sort of it's dangerous because things get messy. Mm-hmm. When you're standing up, you're at no risk of any sort of consequence.
I think that this would do a world of good for toxic masculinity if men felt like they had to sit to pee and solidarity with women who sit to pee.
Counterpoint. Mm-hmm. Do you have a sheepy? Do you know what a sheepy is?
Is that the thing for campers where you like attach it to
Yeah, you attach it. So start standing and peeing pee with the men.
But let me ask
your husband
like
clean
an attachment.
All
I'm saying is like a part of the time, at least I would assume once a day, you sit. But somehow like that's okay. I think there's something in there. And then here's the other thing. There was a study about men sitting to pee, and it's actually better for your prostate I have lots of notes today. There was a Leiden University Medical Center in the Netherlands did a study that said that sitting to pee allows for a more favorable urodynamic profile. The flow is stronger, which helps ward off prostate cancer and prostate problems.
Okay, first off, what is urodynamic? Because that's very
physical. It's like the motion of your ocean. It's like the way the pee flows, and it's better for you to sit because you're not like holding your.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you, Kaylin. This is the final thought.
Do you have a squatty potty? Do you know about squatty potty?
Is that like, I think so. It like lifts your legs up so you sit in the proper way.
Yes. Yes.
I know a lot of these.
Start using a squatty potty, and you can get back to me about the science, because the science says that's really good for you as well.
Yeah, lift your legs up. I'm all for that. I would never.
So give me some evidence. Tell me, live with that for 6 months, and then get back to me.
You sit to pee. I'll lift my legs up, and we are good to go. And we're gonna
out of respect.
Toxic masculinity, but wipe the seat and the floor, men. I'm just letting you know.
Okay, I agree with that. You should wipe the seat.
That's actually, honestly, I don't even care what else happens. I just want
the floor. Wait, the floor? I'm supposed to be wiping the floor.
Wipe it all down.
Let's move on. God damn it.
Okay.
Or make a whole new show about this. Let's go on for hours.
I think I'm onto something. I'm getting
spin the wheel while I grab another.
When I went for office, that's what. Oh, I didn't take it away.
Yeah, baby.
Okay. We're getting all of this is like our social justice
toxic stuff
wars. I know it's like all so Jew face. That's what came up. Did you know that? You were gone.
No, I saw it. I was all the way over in my fridge, which is 2 feet away.
Could you see from there?
Yeah. You could see from my whole apartment. If this green screen falls apart, you'll see how poor I am.
I mean, this is so pathetic.
I'm socialist. I
don't know why this is happening, but it'd be better if I just had my real room in here, but okay. Jew face. Do you want to start with this one? I feel like these are all like I just happened to get my ones today.
Jew face trended because there's an argument over hiring, representation in acting by the people, so if you don't play a disabled actor, hire a disabled actor. Don't play a Asian American or Asian person, hire an Asian. Well, no one would play an Asian person today. God willing, don't be that dumb, but but you get the point. So
that's actually not true. No, just last year, didn't Emma Stone and Scarlett Johansson just in the past couple of years have played.
Oh, they
Asian
played.
Characters.
And one of them was a superhero or something that was an Asian character. They switched it over. Yeah. Anyway, your thoughts on this as an actress?
Well, okay, so the Jew face, which is just kind of catchy, is Sarah Silverman just wrote an article because it was announced that Catherine Hahn, who I did think was Jewish, but she's not, is playing in a biopic about Joan Rivers, who, probably one of the top 5 descriptors of her would be Jewish, right? Comedian, female, Jewish, and a couple other things, but very sort of recognizably high profile Jewish woman. And Sarah Silverman's point was this seems to happen quite a bit for Jewish characters being played by non-Jews. So the other example, there was the marvelous Miss Maples, played by a non-Jewish actress. And there was one other one, I can't remember right now. And it just started a debate, and I think it's a worthy debate, and I'm not totally sure, even surprise, surprise, I don't have an opinion yet, where I come down on it, right? Because as an actress, I want to play everything. Like that was the point. Like you want to play every different kind of role. You want to live different people's lives. And yet in a world where representation matters, and Jews are 2% of the whole population, Asians, Blacks, gay and lesbian, transgender. Like there's lots of different categories that are wildly underrepresented. And so when they finally do get written about into a movie or a play or a TV show, for them then to be played by people not of those categories, like, is that problematic or is it not? I'm not even totally sure where I fall on it. What do you think? Oh, you're muted.
That was self-muting.
It cracks me up.
I might have had to burp and spared everybody. You're welcome. So no, I think I agree with you. There's a balance there. Representation matters, obviously. Like if you're not giving a role to someone who can bring the same attention to the movie, I think this is where I draw the rub is. Like, if you have the potential to draw attention to a story that highlights Asian Americans, for example, by hiring somebody who's not Asian, or I mean that might be like extreme
star
with the
power.
Asian,
You're saying like star power.
Yeah, if you have the star power to elevate a story that somehow will draw more attention to the issues that elevate the racial issue,
right?
Maybe it makes sense. I don't know where that line is.
Yeah,
we don't want
like. Sorry, go ahead.
No. I was just going to say, obviously, you know, blackface and people being extreme about it is something we don't want. But anyway.
And yet, so just recently, in the past couple of weeks, there was a professor, and I cannot remember which college he was teaching at, but he in film studies, and he wanted to show the Othello with Laurence Olivier, who did wear blackface. And he's been let go, that professor, for showing that, even though, of course, it was a different time. And even though it might still have been offensive back then and was for some people, but did what you said of bringing, you know, some attention to, I don't know. It's a difficult one for me because nobody should ever, like, okay. So for instance, you don't wear blackface, you don't do anything to your eyes, you don't do any, but for Jewish characters, they might add a bump to their nose, which has happened recently, which is like, okay, is that okay? I don't know.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know. But then a part of me thinks, yeah, it's okay. I mean, like when Nicole Kidman played Virginia Woolf, she put a bump on her nose. Like, well, I don't know. I don't know where I draw the line.
I mean, I think if it truly makes you look like the character and you're already Jewish, that's one thing, you know, like, or
right.
But yeah, I would have a hard time adding. That's a rough one. I have no jokes about it because
I'm going to cancel you. Can we just spin the wheel?
I'm just smart. That's how smart I am. I have no comments.
Okay. I'm going to spin the wheel, and I forgot to get rid of that one. So I got to do this better.
Let's do it again. One more time. Two-face round 2.
Okay. I am going to remove this one.
Yeah.
This time. I think it's time. It's time for us to remove.
I hope it's setting in that you need to remove these things.
I removed, look, it even says there, you know, I'm being honest, and yet.
Oh, and Sit to Pee is still up there? We can talk about that again?
I want to come back to that. I feel like Kaylin is on my side, and I need everybody I can get on my side.
That's trouble.
And yet, Kaylin, just so you know, she wrote, the term Jew face feels weird to me. It does to me too. It was Sarah Silverman's term, who is Jewish, who was saying that she's not appreciative of, you know, of what's happening. All right, Kiko, you're right. Let's do it. Everybody ready?
Oh, damn it. Cheers.
Cheers. Oh my God. I am seeing very red cheeks. I'm just going to get faster, louder, funnier. Isn't that the way it works?
Yeah, that's why this show needs to go for at least an hour after we're
10
completely
minutes.
toasted.
Oh, we got 10 minutes. Let's get something good. You ready? 10 minutes.
Yeah, baby.
Now the music's
Okay. I am removing this one, but it's a good one.
Oh,
Did you see that it was vaccine mandates? Are you on a lag time?
yeah, we should show the video. We have a video. Well, actually, we have several we could show, but
should we show the Whitney Webb one?
Look,
first?
I'm pro-vaccine. I think it's just important to understand why there's so much vaccine skepticism, and why at least no matter where you land on it, I think people should understand why mandates are another level of, you really have to know. And a lot of the doubt people have, this first one shows the sponsor relationship. So, people are right to question this stuff. If not,
there's a profit motive involved, which makes it less trustworthy. I mean, that's right.
Why didn't I write something like that down? I'm just like fishing for words and I got nothing. But I blame you for not removing the shot thing. But yeah, so kudos to Whitney Webb. We pulled this from her tweet.
Is brought to you by Pfizer.
CBS Health Watch sponsored by Pfizer.
Anderson Cooper 360. Brought to you by Pfizer.
ABC News Nightline. Brought to you by Pfizer.
Making a difference. Brought to you by Pfizer.
CNN Tonight. Brought to you by Pfizer. Early Start. Brought to you by Pfizer. Friday night on Aaron Burnett Out Front. Brought to you by Pfizer.
This Week with George Stephanopoulos is brought to you by Pfizer.
This weather report brought to you by Pfizer.
Today's countdown to the royal wedding is brought to you by Pfizer.
And now a CBS Sports Update brought to you by Pfizer.
Meet the Press Data Download brought to you by Pfizer.
This portion of CBS This Morning sponsored by Pfizer.
On how to find the hidden sugars in the American family diet. Sponsored by Pfizer.
It just goes on and on.
I mean, that's a little bit worrisome. And especially because, as we all know, these companies are not trustworthy in the first place, right? Like Pfizer just had to pay out millions of dollars for, one drug they lied about, or Johnson & Johnson had to pay for the talcum powder for babies that had carcinogens in it. And Pfizer donated more money to Biden. Biden got more money from Pfizer than from any other big pharma company. I mean, there is a reason that people are nervous about this sort of cross-pollination of business and public policy.
In my view, so why is there no discussion? So we have the ability scientifically to test for who has antibodies. And there's a big community that agrees, that scientific community that agrees that if you have the actual antibodies and you can test for them, those antibodies are actually probably better than the vaccine. But at least on par. So if you're gonna mandate something, you should at least allow for people to spend their own money on a damn test to get proof that they have the antibodies. So, people are right to question this stuff is all I'm saying. And I'm pro-vaccine 10,000%.
I am too, but yes. And also, why don't we have a national mask mandate at at a level of filter, right? Like there's supposed to be 3 different filters in one mask that's to be the most efficacious against spreading the aerosols. But I still see people wearing cloth masks, if you're gonna, why isn't there the HEPA filters in public spaces? Why, things that wouldn't cost people money or force them to inject medicine in them, if it were a broader view of how to prevent the spread of this virus, I think people might feel less skeptical. But because it all is just about this one tactic, which the same people who right now are pushing it a year ago were much more skeptical about, it all feels a little bit fuzzy. And that real splice together of all of those different news shows being sponsored by Pfizer
And we have a few more of those, but let's just move on to spin the wheel.
Okay,
again.
We have 5 minutes. Okay, and I see people saying hi, bye, gotta go. Okay, last one. What do you think? Here we go.
Yeah, baby.
Hey, Oz.
My mistake. I am removing that. I am removing it.
So round 2 of this debate.
I just removed it, and there's G-Face.
Yeah, baby.
There we go.
Cancel culture.
That's a good one
All
to
right.
end. Kind of puts it all. I'm removing
We can
it.
do that because this will take a few minutes because I can't do this in. All right, is there a cancel culture? Come on, let's just show the video that we have of like
Barry Weiss talking. Barry Weiss on
Barry
CNN.
Weiss.
On CNN with, I know it's dwindling, but like there are millions of viewers talking about cancel culture.
Yeah, and the point of this video, I mean, we'll show it, but I hate to agree with Barry Weiss, but anyone going on CNN and sort of calling them out, and I agree with 90% of what she says, but
you're right. There are tens of millions of Americans who aren't on the hard left or the hard right who feel the world has gone mad. So in what ways has the world gone mad?
Well, you know, when you have the chief reporter on the beat of COVID for the New York Times talking about how questioning or pursuing the question of the lab leak is racist, the world has gone mad. When you're not able to say out loud and in public that there are differences between men and women, the world has gone mad. When we're not allowed to acknowledge that rioting is rioting and it is bad, and that silence is not violence, but violence is violence, the world has gone mad. When we're not able to say that Hunter Biden's laptop is a story worth pursuing, the world has gone mad. When, in the name of progress, young school children, as young as kindergarten, are being separated in public schools because of their race, and that is called progress rather than segregation, the world has gone mad. There are dozens of examples that I could share with you and with your viewers.
And you often say,
everyone
allowed.
Sort of knows this, and
you say we're not allowed, we're not able.
Between...
Who's the people stopping the conversation? Who are they?
People that work at networks, frankly, like the one I'm speaking on right now, who try and claim that, you know, it was racist to investigate the lab leak theory. It was.
But
I mean,
who
let's
said
just
that
take
at
an
CNN?
example.
But I'm just saying that when you say allowed, I just think it's a provocative thing you say. You say we're not allowed to talk about these things, but they're all over the internet. I can Google them. I can find them everywhere. I've heard about every story you mentioned.
Course.
So I'm just suggesting, of course, people are allowed to cover whatever they want to cover.
But you and I both know, and it would be delusional to claim otherwise, that touching your finger to an increasing number of subjects that have been deemed third rail by the mainstream institutions and increasingly by some of the tech companies will lead to reputational damage, perhaps you losing your job, your children sometimes being demonized as well. And so what happens is a kind of internal self-censorship. This is something that I saw over and over again when I was at the New York Times.
Okay, I can't stand her, and I don't know what she's talking about with the kids being separated. You're muted, so I'm just gonna keep on talking. I love it when you mute yourself.
Damn it.
Damn it. Did you say something brilliant back there?
I explained where the segregated with kids story came from because I know my stuff. No, I was saying I don't know where that part. I know all the other issues she was talking about, but the kids segregated in schools wasn't an issue. Like I don't
know what she's talking about. But the rest of it, I agree with. Even though she's like the worst person to deliver that message, because you know if you bring, I think she tried to get somebody fired who was a proponent of BDS like a decade ago. I mean, she's an awful right-wing person, and even the framing of it, like everything's so separated, right versus left. I reject that framing right now. Like I really think the people who are silenced are the people who are, you know, scared to vote to ratify a strike because they're not going to get hired on the next crew. Those are the people who are being canceled.
So cancel culture. We were talking about this earlier. Bill Maher back in the 90s, 80s, I don't even know. When he had the show Politically Correct.
Yeah.
He was kicked off for basically saying something honest about about the Iraq War.
It's funny that you said 80s, 90s. It was 2001 because it was right after. Well, it was right after 9/11.
So back in the 40s. I'm kind of old. I'm not a spring chicken.
Have another shot.
Yeah, have another shot. So
yeah.
But he was kicked off the air, like his show was removed, which you could call cancel culture.
Yeah.
Because of his views. He said some positive things about so what did he say, Leila? You had the quote.
He said that the terrorists who flew the planes into the Twin Towers weren't cowards. You can say one thing for it. You can say a bunch of things about them, but one thing you can't say is that they're cowards. They stuck with their convictions. He said that.
Right. So that cost him his job.
Yeah.
But meanwhile, he literally used the N-word on the air at HBO, and that didn't cost him his job. So if we have a cancel culture, why did he keep his job then and he lose it? I mean, he lost his job then, and he loses it now. Yeah. What? Let me just repeat that 10 more times. I've said that. I'll say that wrong one more time, so you guys get the point.
He talks about cancel culture a lot. He's really perturbed by it. And yes, he lost a job back then, although of course he found another multi-million-dollar job. And I think that a lot of people like him and Dave Chappelle and Barry Weiss, when they talk about cancel culture, I think what they're actually what's the truth of it is they're upset that they get criticism for the words they use and their opinions that they are able to broadcast to millions of people. There's nothing about those few famous people that's canceled. They have careers, they have broad platforms. They just don't like that the rest of us get to now, because of a more sort of like democratized forum of Twitter or Facebook or whatever social media, we get to comment on it in a way that they didn't ever used to have to take into account our points of view.
Yeah. And we're in a point where everything's so polarized that, okay, say hypothetically you do get canceled. You have a new fan base of people that love you for your shitty position.
Yeah.
So there's no real getting canceled. I mean, getting canceled is like, okay, conceivably, Kyle Kalinske suddenly does some terribly sexist stuff, or emails come out. Bree's partner, whatever his name,
not Felix.
Yeah, I don't even know.
Not Felix. Sorry.
So if you do something really, if you do something really bad and you're caught, sure, canceled, I guess. But like, it takes that. It takes something.
The other thing that she said, and this I do think is problematic, is the culture of what's permissible. And again, to me, it's not right or left. It's corporate or power versus not. Like, they're not talking about the strikes as much on corporate news. So that has a way of being silenced. That's not as popular to talk about. They know that they're not going to do a story like, who's the CNN labor reporter, right? That's not the the ethos of that place to talk about workers and the working class. So it's not so much necessarily, I mean, I'm sure there are some edicts that come down from up above, but it's not even like necessarily that Jeff Bezos is saying, hey, at the Washington Post, we're just going to bag on Bernie for the whole of, for primaries in 2016 and 2020. But like, where your bread is buttered, that Bernie is promoting policies that everybody around you who's a multimillionaire, who's running cover for their billionaire owners, is not really looking towards favorably. So are you going to be the one who speaks up and decides to cover an angle in a positive light? Or, so I think it's, and as much as I can't stand Barry Weiss, I do think that last bit that she said is true. I think that there is not necessarily written rules of what you can and cannot say, but it's understood.
Well, you can't work at a place and see who gets promoted, who gets the airtime, who gets their own shows, and say, "Oh, holy crap, MSNBC is going to let me speak my mind."
Right.
Or it's not going to happen. The examples of people. You've got Ed. Whatever. Covered Bernie's.
Brain.
the shots kill all
much. I
all
know.
memory.
I didn't write that down. But yeah, Phil Donahue was fired. Crystal Ball was fired for wanting to talk about Brie. Gosh darn it, I can't remember his name. Is not Dylan Radigan was fired. I mean, a lot of people, even though like I know a lot of us have turned on TYT, but Cenk Uygur was let go. Like, you could not be progressive at the lefty lean in network of MSNBC, right? Yeah.
Well, that's the whole point. You're not allowed.
You're not allowed. And on that note, on that positive note, we really do have to go. I got to root on my Dodgers. This is going to get me canceled because I'm sure not everybody in our audience is a Dodger.
You're a shitty Dodger fan. Speaking as
I know. I don't even know what's happening right now.
How dare you have a show? Oh, and we don't like Bernie. I mean, obviously we're Bernie haters because we had a show at the same time too.
Coming up against him. I know. On my other devices, I'm also tuning into his Twitch stream. Because I'm still simping for.
Oh, you have a lot of devices. You sound pretty rich.
Thought you were a socialist, and yet you have a phone.
Multiple devices.
Hey, so the next time we see everybody, we might be in the same city.
Oh yeah, so we're
this weekend. We're not sure, but we'll spring it on.
We're gonna do a show this weekend. We don't know what time yet. Probably
because
have a few.
Keep asking Pat to come up with the schedule for the last month and a half. It's 2 days out, and I've got nothing.
In the next 5 minutes, I'm going to make a group chat, and we're going to handle this. And
hey, thanks everybody for tuning
this weekend.
in.
We'll have a show with several podcast folks. It's going to be fun and all that good stuff. But thank you so much for being here. Cheers,
thanks everybody. Cheers. Solidarity to the strikers. Hold the line. Vote no on the reconciliation gutted bill. Cheers.